I think people don't realize is that Pacific is manufactured in the United States, isn't it?
Right. So that's another key thing that's a little different than a lot of our competitors nowadays. So we still do, most of the manufacturing and assembly in the United States. So some of our biggest competitors are, importing machines directly from China, overseas somewhere. That's, I guess, one thing that still makes us special. We're one of the few left that are still building press brakes or hydraulic presses in the United States.
Welcome to Making Sparks, the podcast where we ignite your passion for metal fabrication and fuel your business success. Join industry leaders and dive deep into the world of metalworking. From business insights to tips of the trade, Making Sparks is your forge of knowledge. During each episode, discover success stories, innovative solutions, and expert interviews that light the path to business growth. Subscribe today and grow and improve your company, and let's make sparks fly together.
Welcome to Making Sparks. This is a special FabTech edition, and we're actually sitting at our sponsor for all of our FabTech 2024 Orlando episodes, Pacific Press Holdings. We're at their Pacific booth. It's kind of a special day for them as they're rolling out a new logo. We're sitting here with Laramie and Matthew from Pacific. I'm sitting here with Matthew, and I'm Casey Voelker, the host. And I'm pretty sure I kind of screwed that up, but that's okay. We'll go ahead and just go with it.
I thought you nailed it, man.
Really?
I thought it was pretty good.
We got guys spinning a wheel behind us here. They're literally doing what's that game show? Let's make a deal.
Let's make a Wheel of Fortune.
Wheel of Fortune.
Russian roulette.
We got Wheel of Fortune going on right behind us. They're hollering out $1,000 winners. I think you nailed it.
I got a little nervous because I wanted to make sure that I got the word Pacific in there since you guys are the sponsor, right? Also, Pacific has a very cool story. I'll let Laramie kind of tell us a little bit about the history of Pacific and kind of where you guys kind of started and how you guys got here today, where we're at now, obviously who you guys are now.
Yeah, sure. So Pacific was actually founded in Oakland, California in 1945. So that's where they built the first hydraulic press brake. Somewhere around 1954, actually moved to Mount Carmel, Illinois, and that's where we've been ever since. So still building hydraulic press brakes, hydraulic machinery, also doing some retrofitting.
What led them to make the trip from California to Mount Carmel, Illinois? If anybody doesn't know, Mount Carmel's a little town, and
there is a little distance between those two, and then that also goes into why it's named Pacific. So obviously when it started in Oakland, it makes more sense that it was called Pacific being out there. So from what I was told was that most of their customer base was in the Midwest, and it's expensive to ship big equipment like that all the way to the Midwest. So they were looking for a base closer centralized than that. And it just so happened Mount Carmel had a facility open, and so we moved in.
So obviously you guys rebranded. You guys used to have the blue and the red, and just like every manufacturer, and you guys went to the orange. And I'm noticing that because I'm a marketing guy. But one of the things is you guys have Pacific Press Holdings, which is your guys' holding company that manufactures Pacific presses as well as multi-press hydraulic brakes and presses, right? Can you talk a little bit about the two different brands, how they kind of work together?
Yeah, so as you've noticed, so we unveiled our new brand here at FabTech this year. The big focus was, so Pacific Press Holdings has both brands, Pacific Press and Multi-Press, and we wanted to do something to kind of bring that together. So we decided to change the color scheme. So now Multi-Press and Pacific are both orange. And then we also changed the logo so they kind of basically match up a little bit better. And so there's some brand recognition between the two to identify that they both fall under the Pacific Press Holdings name.
And maybe I'm dumb, but does everybody know what retrofitting mean? If someone's listening to this, do they know what that means, retrofitting?
well, yeah, but I think you got to provide some context. Retrofitting what?
Yeah, like what do you guys retrofit?
We retrofit presses, press brakes, add back gauges, automation, PLC upgrades.
Full disclosure, Pacific is one of Captivate Content's clients, and they flew us down to Louisiana, and we got to film one of their clients, and one of those was partially retrofitted, wasn't it? Where you guys had a little bit of automation going in there, where they were, at one time, everything they were doing was manually done. Can you talk a little bit about that?
So that press was actually one of our first fully automated pole presses. We added in new power unit, upgraded the electrical. We did new pushers, the Serpent chain pushers. Just about everything on that press has been retrofitted.
So what age press are we talking about when you're talking about retrofitting something like that?
I believe that one was from 2006.
Well, actually, we just went the other day. So just last week, we went and looked at one for a customer in Indiana that was built in 1954. So it was a 1,000-ton Pacific press brake. They're interested in replacing hydraulics, the electrical system on it. The frames are made to last forever.
Yep.
So if you can go in to one of these old machines, retrofit it with new controls, new hydraulics, I mean, you get several more years out of it that way.
Yeah, and with just the cost of big iron today, I mean, just the frame alone, or your foundation that you already have in place, I mean, there's a lot of value in that. So I assume, and we do similar things, not with press brakes, but with other equipment where we'll retrofit or remanufacture for our customers. And I assume that you can, when you're done with it, almost deliver them like a brand new product, right? I mean, every component on it can be new other than the original frame when you're done.
Yeah, we can even do the gibbing as well. That press we actually looked at came from Oakland. That was one of the originals we went to go look at.
I think it's crazy just how old some of your guys' press. There are other press manufacturers that have some old manufactured press, but your guys' are, 50, 60 years old, probably sometimes older than that. I guess maybe more like 40 years old, my bad, adding some years there. Something I think the listeners might, but your guys' facility in Mount Carmel, it's an old, what is it, old train depot?
Yeah, so it's this old train depot for the railroad, so they used to repair locomotives in there. So it's got a 100-ton crane overhead that we use to help lift up some of those heavy frame components. So still gets used occasionally.
There's so many great manufacturing companies around, particularly the Midwest, but across the country, that do awesome modern manufacturing that are in some of these old World War II era facilities, and so those big heavy facilities with heavy crane capacity and big ceilings are hard to come by.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I think that was one of their original picks when we picked that location, is because it actually had that 100-ton crane already in there for the trains. So.
Hey, it's Casey with MakingSparks. I'm sitting here with Adam Schmidt from ProFab Alliance, and we were just laughing because we're interrupting your regularly scheduled MakingSparks episode to bring you your Sparks of Knowledge.
I got another question for your podcast listeners today, and these would actually be owners of businesses, and they're looking to grow and might be considering some additional services or bolt-on business, and that's where ProFab Alliance can help out with our franchising. For example, let's say you own a fab shop, right? And you want to offer a more well-rounded services to be more of an all-encompassing shop or one-stop shop. What about offering powder coating and just finishing services to your customers? So ProFab Alliance can help you take that coatings and finishing business and bolt it on to your existing operation. And, we'll help with the setup, the estimating, the systems and processes that you need, and maybe even a few connections to help you get started. So if that's something you're interested in, please visit profaballiance.com.
Forgot where I was going, Matthew.
We're going to need Casey to edit this.
I know. Where was I going with this, guys? I don't know where I was going.
Where do you want it to
talk
go?
about multi-press more, or you just
We
want to
can,
stay with?
yeah. Like, I think the history of Pacific is pretty cool. I guess what's cool is I think people don't realize is that Pacific is manufactured in the United States, isn't it?
Right. Yeah. So that's another key thing that's a little different than a lot of our competitors nowadays. So we still do, most of the manufacturing and assembly in the United States. So some of our biggest competitors are, importing machines directly from China, overseas somewhere. That's, I guess, one thing that still makes us special. We're one of the few left that are still building press brakes or hydraulic presses in the United States.
Now, obviously, you guys came. I always like to talk a little bit about culture. You guys came to Pacific. How long have you been here now, Laramie?
I've been here for 9 years now.
Matthew, how long?
6 years.
6 years. I mean, you guys have been here a little while, but you guys came from other jobs and stuff. What drew you guys to Pacific, and what do you think Pacific's doing from a culture standpoint that other fabrication or just like any manufacturers can kind of learn from what you guys are? What makes you guys want to hang out there?
I just love the industry in general. Getting to see such a wide range of different things that our customers are doing or trying to solve a problem for them. That's what I find most intriguing about it. On top of that, I get to work with different types of machinery. So, I mean, we got hydraulic press brakes, hydraulic presses. You get to do all the hydraulics. There's mechanical aspect to it. It's just really interesting industry.
What really drew me there is because it's kind of a family thing. So my uncle, he was a service tech when I was small, little. He would actually come to Alabama on trips to actually retrofit a couple of the presses down there. And I remember we'd go out to dinner. He'd talk about some of the equipment he's working on. And he's always like, yeah, whenever you get old enough, you need to come, stop in and see if this is something you would want to do. So when I was 18, I actually did, but Pacific turned me down. But I eventually did find my way there.
That's really cool.
I will say Pacific's a lot like Nix. Like when I go into I meet with your guys, like you guys all kind of have the same feel and stuff, but then also like your guys' customers, we got some videos running over here that we got to go in and like just a shout out to the fabrication industry. A guy that's a marketing guy, I was reinvigorated when I went up to was it JM
JM Hutton, yeah.
Just talking to the COO or whatever, and how laid back he was, and just how everybody there was just like so excited to tell me what they were doing. And then I went to one of Nix's new shops over in New Albany. It was the same way. I had my drone out, and these guys are coming over and looking at me, and they were just so excited to be sharing what they do on a daily basis on camera. And I just want to give that a shout out because we are at FabTech, and I think people don't realize just how much fun this industry
such
really
an
is.
Exciting just this week being here. I mean, in this building right now is literally like all the people that build everything in the United States if it's made out of metal. I mean, these are the people that literally build our country. So it is an exciting place to be, an exciting industry to be a part of. All the automation that's going on right now. I mean, I know you guys are introducing automation as well as so many people are. I mean, we have robotics that are interfacing with press brakes now and presses. Can you guys talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, it's getting to be more and more a thing because like everybody else is having trouble finding operators or, having to train new operators all the time. And that's where robotics is really stepping in to fill that void. So it's becoming a very popular thing right now.
What kind of automation are you guys integrating? What are you seeing most of, or having the most requests for?
So we've been doing automation, to some degree for a while, especially on those automated pull systems. We're feeding material already into the machine to do the bends, as opposed to picking it up with a crane or trying to manually put it into position.
We're ejecting it out of the press.
Yeah, so that's something else we do is we automatically eject the material out once it's all bent. So
what about setting up tooling and stuff? I know that takes a lot of time. Are you guys doing any kind of automations that help set up with tooling?
We haven't really gotten to the automated tooling, and one of the biggest challenges on that's just the size of the machines.
Yeah.
So that takes a pretty good investment to go that route. So lots of our big press brakes are almost use dedicated tooling for most of the time. So that's another reason we really haven't made that jump into that, but it's definitely something I think we'll need to look at in the future.
I'd like to know, what's the most unique way that you guys have seen your guys' press brakes being used in a manufacturing plant?
Ooh, I don't know. That's
the most interesting thing I've ever seen was we had a press with wooding tooling that made toothpicks. That was one of the most interesting jobs I've ever went to when I was a service tech. So yeah, they just made toothpicks. Wooden tooling.
Well, you've been into some pretty neat facilities.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can talk about it on air or not.
I don't know which ones I can.
So you've been in some places that make some stuff that you can't talk about.
Yeah, I have.
That's cool.
Yeah, I've been places with curtains that have stuff shut off where you can't see certain things. So, yeah, to work on this dedicated part that was broke, and that was it.
What's one of the coolest things you guys have seen? I mean, obviously it's just day one at FabTech right now. What's one of the coolest things you guys have seen walking around FabTech?
Probably that Lamborghini.
I haven't seen the Lamborghini. I saw a Indy car sitting up there.
It was the Indy cars I saw. I was thinking.
Casey, you're really not a car guy if you're mixing up an Indy car with a Lamborghini.
I'm losing.
And you're from Indiana.
Any credibility that I ever had is being lost right now because of him. Because of myself.
No, listen, he is the marketing guru. That's all you need to know.
I can tell stories. All right.
Yeah.
I can make people cry on camera, right, Brian? I can make people cry.
What are you excited about while you're here?
So the biggest thing I like to come to FabTech is just, it's one of the few places where most of the suppliers that you work with, or your competition are at. So just to see what everybody's doing, catch up with everybody. I mean, it's easy. Everybody's all in one spot at the same time, and that makes it great for that.
Yeah, I agree. I say all the time. I mean, being at the booth and doing this stuff's great, but some of the best stuff happens outside of the booth. Just over the dinner table or at the bar, and the people you run into in the hallway. And so that's why it's great to be here and be a part of it.
Well, and here in Orlando, what's been cool, like we flew in last night, me and Matthew, we were late bloomers getting here a little later, right? I walked around, our hotel was more like a resort, and everybody, you just see all these people, they're going to FabTech, they got their hats on, their jeans on, they're all just hanging out, drinking, chatting up a storm, and it literally feels like a little bit of a party, and we're just in one of the hotels, we're not even one attached to the convention center, I think that, like the atmosphere, I think this is my third FabTech, and I've just been having a fun time networking, seeing people I saw last year, running into them and stuff like that, seeing people I've connected with on LinkedIn virtually, and now meeting them in person. I think that's really cool at FabTech.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else you guys want to talk about? I like to think of our listeners being the fabrication industry, so in metal fabrication and stuff. What's something that gets you guys excited about where the industry's going?
Tough one.
You stumped him with the last question. So I'm definitely excited about our future. Just seeing all the technology and figuring out how we can involve that in our equipment is something that I definitely get excited about, for sure.
I think one of the things I'm the most excited about is probably our future press brake. I think that's what's got me really, really excited.
How can people learn more about Pacific Press Holdings and Pacific Press and Multi-Press?
Well, obviously you can go to our website, www.pacific-press.com. Or Multi-Press has its own website as well, so that's www.multipress.com.
Thank you guys for being on. Again, this episode and all of our episodes at FabTech are going to be brought to you by Pacific Press Holding, manufacturers of Pacific multi-press hydraulic brakes and presses. So again, I just want to say thanks you guys for sponsoring these episodes and also letting us come and put lights and cameras at your booth. We've just been watching people walk back and forth, trying not to trip on our stuff. But
yeah.
Well, Casey, one thing we didn't do today is there wasn't a dad joke. Since we're at FabTech, I
don't know if I'm going to have.
Are we laying low?
We're laying low. I'm going to have
dad jokes?
That's a lot of dad jokes I got to think about.
A lot of pressure,
in a
right?
Day, yeah.
So if you're a loyal listener and you follow Casey's dad jokes, just hang in there with us. It was a lot of pressure for him to set this whole situation up here. I'll say he was sweating. Like,
I still am sweating.
Literally.
I went to the bathroom, got me a paper towel to dab myself a little bit.
He didn't have time to put together a dad joke, so we'll make sure tomorrow we're going to record several more episodes, which will be coming out in the weeks ahead after this one. So we'll make sure you have a dad joke.
He's acted like a dad. He's like, make sure you have a dad joke. He's looking at me like that.
All right, so we'll sign it off here, guys. And you know how it goes. If you're not making sparks, if you're not bending parts,
then you're not making money.
Boom.